Let's kick off the show with the issue of climate change. During the COP27 summit held in Egypt, the Lagos state government had the opportunity to present its climate change resilience and adaptation plan to other African countries at the 27th session of Conference of Parties on Climate Change. One of the ideas pitched by the Lagos state government is usage of fossil fuels, building healthcare infrastructure with sustainable energy design, among other initiatives that will be of benefit to Lagosians. Take a look.
The impact of climate change is increasingly being felt in Nigeria, with the extent of flooding experienced this year in the north and south and its devastating aftermath. Global warming, flooding, fossil fuel usage, adaptation to climate change were major discussions. At the 27th UN Climate Change Conference, COP27, held in Egypt, some cabinet members of the Lagos state government took a trip to Sharm el-Sheikh to present the state's climate adaptation and resilience plan that will make Lagos the model city for Africa.
So Lagos State came here to present its climate adaptation and resilience plan. So it came, as you can see, with commissioners and special advisors and agency heads from different units that are all involved in the adaptation and resilience plan. So from my perspective, I came representing health. And what we're trying to do is to climate-proof the health sector, to build resilience within the health sector, to keep up with Mr. Governor's plan for making Lagos State the model megacity of Africa. So if Mr. Governor's plan is to develop this amazing economic hub of West Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, which is already Lagos. Everybody loves Lagos. We love Lagos. So we don't want to see Lagos go down under a shock, either a climatic shock or a biological shock. So when we're attracting investors, one of the most important things to show them is that Lagos is a healthy city, and that if you have health issues, you can receive international benchmark health care in the city. But at the same time, we're developing capacity, infrastructure, human resources, programs. We're digitalizing the health sector. In our infrastructure blueprint, which we've spent about 3 years developing, under Mr. Governor's instructions, we've gone to use international designers on sustainable energy from all over the world to develop very amazing architectural blueprints for the future of the health sector in Lagos State. We've come to the conclusion of many of them now. We've started to roll them out. Massey Street is a sustainable design. Our new primary healthcare facilities, we're just starting to build the first of many. They're all naturally cool buildings, good ventilation, solar panels, renewable energy. They won't depend on the grid for their power most of the time. So to operate these facilities, we'll have very low carbon footprint, reduce emission into the environment, reduce on air pollution, and of course, it'll be much cheaper and much more sustainable.
As part of efforts to deal with air pollution, plans are in the works to acquire equipment that measure air quality and help lessen the impact of global warming.
There's so much opportunity for investments, and not only investments, profit-making, sustainable and enduring investments in Nigeria, because Lagos is a coastal city. The water economy is growing, blue economy is growing. We're looking at shifting from fossil fuels, we're looking at shifting from ground transportation into water transportation, and all these things bring in interest and money. So we have made a lot of pitches. We are happy to say that compared to COP26, we have signed agreements here in COP27 for multilateral and internationals to come invest in Lagos State. Lagos is a blank drawing sheet to deal with air pollution, to get indices, to sell your air quality monitoring machines, they're needed in Lagos. We have found industries who are willing to technically support and also support with human resource and capacity development. So the project is growing. We intend to go to as many communities as we can go to until it becomes climate change, air pollution is not an event, it's a way of life, and that is what we are hoping to achieve. Now, with machines measuring air quality, telling you how it affects your health, telling you when to go out, when not to go out, we are starting to adopt a new way of life. We want television stations to report real-time online the status of the air quality in Lagos State. And with big companies here, companies that sell this equipment, both mobile and stationary, I think we have gained some traction in attracting them towards this project.
Because this is the COP for action, it's the COP for adaptation. And Lagos State, like you know, is a coastal state. And when you look at the trajectory of greenhouse gas emissions, you will find out that what we really need to do as Lagos is to adapt. And to adapt, therefore, requires two things. The investors are concerned about proper planning. They are concerned about political will. We've done a very strong evidence-based investigation of what our risks are and the implications of no action, which we estimate to be $30 billion for Lagos. And we've also estimated what it requires through 38 different well-defined projects, what it will take to stop that. And we estimate that to be $8 billion. Therein stands what we call the socio-economic return on investment. Because people are also saying, what's the return on investment? If you are investing $5 billion to save $30 billion, right, you then see the return. And we need to take that action because of what Lagos means to the African continent. You can imagine what can happen if Lagos is flooded. It can displace over 2 million people, and that can destabilize the West African sub-region. So we need to act. We will not wait. We are used to acting, but we are here in COP27 to invite the world to join us because Lagos presents the best chance of that collaboration.
In the meantime, the ministry in charge of energy and mineral resources is taking steps to achieve net zero plan, which is being supported by private partners.
It's incremental. We're going to look at everything from energy swaps to investments in renewables, which is going to help us achieve our net zero ambitions very quickly, and then investments in other fossil fuel technologies that will still, again, help us to reduce the gap in the energy deficits that we have. So it's not one thing that's going to solve the problem. It's a bunch of things entirely. Now, back to your point, the grid supplies 800 megawatts in Lagos. People on their own supply about 4,000 gigawatts using diesel generators. If we're able to displace that, then we've gone a long way to achieving our net zero ambitions. So it's not, we're already emitting a lot. I mean, compared to the rest of the world, we're not. But compared to Lagos, which in our opinion is a very crowded city, less than 0.4% of Nigeria's land mass and about 12% of Nigerians live in Lagos from every tribe. The emissions levels are unacceptable. We have LASEPA measuring the air quality and saying it's bad, and so we're not discounting anything.
Specifically to the net zero agenda by 2050 as set by the Lagos State government. If you are in Lagos, by the first quarter of 2023, you'll be able to jump on buses that are 100% electric. That is our way of decarbonizing, in partnership with Lagos State government, through Lamata, the public transport system in Lagos. Lagos, as you know, has about, say, 7 million commuters daily, north of that. And the public transport system in Lagos has historically been one that's been driven by internal combustion engine vehicles. This contributes about, on average, 50 to 55% of the carbon emissions that we see in Nigeria. And by cleaning up the transport system in Lagos, we help to fast track the achievement of net zero by 2050. Also, we are investing in a 1 gigawatt capacity wind energy plant in Lagos, coastal or near shore Lagos, because as you know, Lagos has a huge energy demand, perhaps the largest energy demand across the country, and they're not exempt from the challenges around energy generation and distribution that we experience across the country. Therefore, it is important to us that as we help Lagos scale up access to energy, we must make sure that it's done in a renewable way. So that's why we're going to invest in a 1 gigawatt wind energy project for Lagos State. And we're also going to invest in a 1 gigawatt capacity solar module assembly plant in Lagos. And what this means numbers-wise is, say if a solar panel is 500 watts, we will invest in a plant that will assemble 2 million units of solar panels every year. We will source the glass locally, we will source the aluminum framing locally, we will import only the cells and the membrane that is used to enhance the radiation and conversion to energy.
As Lagos continues to build its resilient plan and attain net zero agenda by 2050, the state government is assuring residents and investors that it's well prepared to deal with climate change issues.